a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
The bits.
Welcome to The Bits, hosted by your favorite jam buds, Robert.
And Charlie.
Oh man, Charlie, are you excited for this one?
I am. I'm so excited. Are we gonna fuse and become one? Is that what's gonna happen in this episode?
I think if we fused and became one, we would collapse under our shared anxiety and depression.
You're so correct.
But all I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman, So I can be Steven along for this ride, or are we gonna make this a throuple situation into an Alexandrite?
You know what? I'm here for it. It's got Alex in the name.
Which is totally 100% not why Alexandrite is my favorite fusion.
But mystery voice who has already given her name, who isn't me or Charlie? Who are you?
Hi friends, Alex Sheher here, from co-host of My Cabbages, an Avatar now Legend of Korra podcast.
My Cabbages.
It's all Avatar. It
falls
just
under the Avatar
Korra.
umbrella. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's the Avatar worlds.
Well, so because it's not Avatar: The Last Airbender podcast, we don't have to rebrand. So just My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast.
My Cabbages. Hey, question that I may or may not cut out depending if you need. Are y'all gonna eventually, when this supposed waterbending Avatar show comes out, are you also gonna cover that?
Well, I think that we definitely have plans to do other content besides Korra. What that content will be heavily depends. We definitely are interested in what Avatar Studios and Brian and Mike are working on, and then obviously the Netflix live action show. For people who haven't listened to our pod, I highly suggest you go listen to the one that released the very end when we wrapped up all of Avatar: The Last Airbender. We had none other than the Cabbage Man himself, Mr. James C. Was an absolute delight. And yeah, we were always he talked about his experience being on the live show. Didn't know when it was come out. We think it's coming out now sometime in 2024. But when that is, especially now with the writers' strikes and actors strikes, who knows? So yeah, we'll see what content comes down the way. But the plans are in the future for more content. Absolutely.
Nice.
There's plenty of Avatar stuff out there. So
yeah,
there's plenty of Avatar stuff out there. There's the comics, there's the games, there's
the books. Honestly, I would love to do maybe some bonus content, spoilers, or not, depending how I feel. But yeah, we read for our book club last year The Rise of Kyoshi by FCE, and I love their writing, and I can't wait to read The Shadow of Kyoshi. And then I think now they're on the sequel to their second Avatar, which is The Dawn of Yang Chen. So yeah, so much content. Oh my god, we could keep going. So, but this is not an Avatar podcast.
No, sadly.
Yeah, we're here to talk about one of our other favorite fandoms. Definitely one of mine, Steven Universe. Oh my goodness, what an iconic episode! I feel so honored to be here.
Yeah. Alex, I'd like to know, how did you get into Steven Universe?
Oh, okay. So my previous partner of mine that I was dating ended up doing long distance between North Carolina and when I moved back to Pittsburgh, they were super into Steven Universe. And it was one piece of media that that's what I really, my favorite thing that I took away from that relationship. Other things were unfortunately a little toxic, but who cares? They gave me Steven Universe, so I will be
Hey.
forever grateful for that. And yeah, and it just went from there. And then I started fast forward a few years later, and I started dating Zach, and that was something we bonded over from the beginning, was our mutual love from Steven Universe. So the show brings people together, man. It's all about love.
It's all about love. And
Just for
love
one day,
is,
let's think about love.
yeah, for one day we got to think about love, especially today, where we look at Giant Woman, which premiered February 24th, 2014.
Dang.
Dang.
So
Wow,
long
I didn't
ago.
realize. Yeah, because this is so for me, when I think of Steven Universe, I also, before I got into the show, was 100% an Adventure Time fan. Adventure Time got me some of through the darkest periods of depression and anxiety in my life. And
Mm.
I know that Rebecca Sugar, the creator, she also, and like knows Pendleton Ward and like a lot of the artists, worked on both shows. So when I just don't realize though that like Steven Universe, I was actually able to watch it as it came out still, which was wild and very, very wonderful.
Such a good show.
I know, but like 2015, that feels like forever ago, but it's only 8 years. So
Only 8
oh,
years.
Only 8 years. There are like people who are alive today who were born when the first Steven Universe came out, who
you're
are like sentient and like in fourth grade learning about like math and stuff.
and watching Steven Universe.
Oh yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, so that's my Steven Universe story, and I'm sticking to it. And before you ask, my favorite gems are number one is probably Peridot, followed close second by Lapis. I
Good.
love those.
Good.
Total Lapidot shipper. Yep. Here we go.
Absolutely, as you should
Bring
be.
it on. Bring it on.
Cottagecore lesbians. Speaking of cottagecore lesbians, we don't exactly get that. We do get begrudging lesbians? Question mark. I don't know.
Yeah, it was honestly, I was surprised rewatching this episode. I always remembered it when you were asking what episodes we wanted to be on for. I was like, well, I have to be on for the first fusion episode because oh my god, this was when this is the first episode I probably when I watched this show was like, damn, okay, shit's real. And I was like in for like all in for here on out. But when I rewatched it, I was like, this fusion isn't as positive in the beginning as I remember it being.
Yeah, I also feel the same way. This is definitely like probably the episode where I was like, oh yeah, this is like a good show, I think.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Very.
Yeah.
I always forget. Wait, are we no spoilers? Sorry,
Nope,
I
spoiler
just asked
away.
that.
Spoilers. We spoiled Rose Quartz's Pink Diamond in episode 1
Okay, well,
for Kenna.
all spoilers all the time. Okay. Well, this totally for some reason I thought that we learned about uh Garnet's fusion with Safi and Ruby before we learned about and I was wrong.
Yeah, we don't learn
It
about
wasn't even
Garnet.
hinted at like
Yeah. We don't get Ruby and Sapphire till like
The
the
end of season
finale
1.
of this season.
which is in like only 40 episodes.
Yeah, another 40,
No.
Yeah, you'll be there
next
before
year.
you know it.
We'll allegedly be talking
Pride,
about it.
right?
We'll be talking about it during Pride. Yeah, that's the thing, which is
That's
fantastic.
the hope. That's why we
That's
can't get off
true.
schedule, just so we can
No.
have that.
The best dream possible.
Absolutely. And this, when I first learned about fusion in the show, because last episode I was mentioning, oh yeah, like we finally see Garnet's like third eye for the first time. Like, oh, that's weird. And then in this episode, we learn fusions have multiple limbs. So I'm pretty sure when I watched this episode, I was like, oh, Garnet's a fusion.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know what I learned? Fusion is just a cheap tactic that gems use to get stronger.
Shut the fuck up. Oh no.
So I'm sensing some toxic jaspelinity.
Big buff Cheeto Puff.
Big Puff, Cheeto Puff. Charlie's about 5 seconds away from going Super Saiyan Steven and shattering me.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
But before that happens, let's talk about Giant Woman.
Woo!
So the episode opens up with Pearl and Amethyst playing checkers, and I guess if you don't make a good move, Steven throws a water balloon at you.
At first, I thought they were just like hardcore sweating because it was so hot outside, but oh, we were wrong.
Yeah, I do love it. It's very hardcore. Robert, you realize that this is an episode with a new gem.
Right. I always forget about your bit because it's so far and few in between. Charlie, is there somewhere we gotta be right now?
There is. We have to rewind and go back to the classroom.
The classroom gems.
But I don't want to go to school. Speaking of, why does Steven not have to go to school?
Because he's a
he's a magical girl.
He's a magic pink boy.
I'm gonna talk about opals, maybe. Try to understand what the fuck's going on with this. Because I know nothing. And once again, I still know nothing science-wise, so a lot of this is stuff to me, and I don't understand it. But the first thing that I do see on this page is that cleavage, none. No cleavage for opal. This is the most important thing to look up every single time, because gems have cleavage. Okay, that's interesting. So we got a bunch of different color options, but there's also colorless opals? That's cool. That's cool. So, let's see. This first sentence is like, it's a hydrated amorphous form of silica. What the hell does that mean?
There's metals and stuff. Toph could bend that shit.
Toph can... Okay, this is a question I've had. I think Toph could bend all of the gems. Specifically, I think she could do it. Because we do see the Earthbenders bending crystals. So...
Well... I mean, in that it reminds me, the closest I remember of crystals is Boomy and like those crystals that would like grow. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like the crystals under the caverns and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
So I'm like, I think gems are fair game.
I do. I am here for this crossover fan theory.
Yeah, it's like bloodbending, but it's like, earthbending.
Yeah.
Bending.
When earthbending enters the darkest timeline.
Opal. There's a lot of different versions of opal. There's like precious type of opal.
Opal is precious.
Opal is precious. Ooh, common opal. Oh, that's cool. Deposited around hot springs and geysers. Very, very cool things. Opal. Ooh, history. It was rare and valuable in antiquity. Prized by royalty. Very, very cool. It's the national gemstone of Australia.
We did it.
Sam,
it's you. We found you. Every time. There's just a whole section on Australia. I love it.
There's a whole section on Australia. You know what? Australia is very Australian.
It is. It truly is. So it's like specifically found in like Australia, Ethiopia, Nevada, Mexico, and a few other places, but like those are like the big ones where opal is found. Apparently, that's cool. Why is the etymology at the bottom of the fucking page? That is so weird.
That's weird. Usually etymology is at the top, at least for all the Greek shit.
Yeah, I'm so not used to this. Okay, what does the word opal mean? It well, possibly it means precious stone. Possibly it's related to, hey look, that's Roman stuff. the goddess Ops, which is the Roman form of Rhea, you know?
What? I know it's a birthstone. What month has opal as its birthstone?
October.
There you go. So my mom's an opal,
Nice.
and my sister-in-law.
Good shit. Good shit. It's also that means for all like the spooky people, all the Halloween people, opal.
Yeah.
Shit.
Ooh, I'm here for it.
Spooky, scary
My
skeletons.
birthstone is aquamarine. So I was born in March. March
Good.
BBs, but like there is no aquamarine gem.
There's an aquamarine.
They're well,
She's
clearly they're not memorable, unfortunately.
it's the teardrop British one with the wings.
Oh, the really annoying one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that talks like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Peridot, you're so much in trouble. Tisk, 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 how dare you betray Yellow Diamond? Kind of like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's like her voice, like very much.
Okay, now, well, thanks, I hate it. I'm just gonna go back to forgetting and thinking there is no aquamarine.
I'm sorry.
No,
Just
you're
like mind
totally
wipe.
fine.
There is no aquamarine in Bossing Sam.
Wow. We're really combining fandoms.
Okay, ooh, this opal could also come from like a ancient Greek word, opalios. So it can mean like seeing or like opaque. Okay. So like something like a change in color could be like its meaning. And yeah, historical superstitions. In the Middle Ages, it was like super lucky. It possessed all the virtues of each gemstone because like it's got a bunch of colors in it. It's like the rainbow gem. Like honestly, it's got a bunch of like look at all the pictures on this page. There's a bunch of like rainbow things in it. It's a very gay gem. It's said to grant invisibility.
If it's supposed to grant invisibility, why can't we see opal in this episode?
It's a good question. I mean, you have to wrap
It's a
it.
spirituality thing. Like I'm sure that there's some type of ritual. Just doesn't like make you invisible.
You have to wrap it in a leaf and hold it in your hand, and then you can be invisible, I guess.
There you go.
It's the patron gemstone of thieves. I'm sorry. What is up with opal? Like, this is such a cool gemstone.
To be fair,
That's
I don't
why,
know,
because she's the coolest fusion besides Alexandrite.
I mean, it does make sense. You have like the chaos of amethyst mixed with like the order of pearl.
Yeah, that could be a rogue.
You got chaotic, evil, and wait, what are their fucking alignments again?
I think I just said like chaotic is amethyst and lawful is pearl. So like they're just like a neutral. Like opal
Yeah.
becomes neutral, like garnet.
Maybe chaotic.
Wait, she
Neutral?
becomes neutral like Garnet, who's also a fusion. Ah!
I think that's the thing about fusions is a lot of the time they kind of become more neutral because like you know
Except for
yeah well
Sugalite.
Sugalite is an outlier and should not have been counted. Um,
But my Nicki Minaj is Queen Bee, Queen Bey, and yeah,
so I think what I'm trying to say here is that like fusions where like it's a more what are they called? Stable fusions, they're more neutral. When a drop of holy water falls on opals, what? Someone dies? Okay.
Somewhat. All right. Time to speed run death. Somebody get an opal and drop some holy water on it.
It's about somebody's like novel where somebody wore a talisman, holy water fell on it, and then they died like right after. Okay, sure. Bad luck and death. Okay, that's a combination. We've had good luck and we've had bad luck. It also embodies the evil eye, possibly.
well, thieves, the evil eye. I mean, so what I'm hearing is opal is what you make of it.
Yeah.
It's the common man's gemstone.
Yeah, I mean, I do this segment to try to see if there's any connection between the character and what we know about the gems from like real life and like stories about them, but I'm not seeing a lot here that really connects to this specific character. But also, she's just a Stone Cold Fox. We love her. All right. Let's talk about the water balloons.
What are the rules to water balloon checkers is my question. Is it just
Anytime you lose a piece,
you get a water balloon chucked at you?
I think that's what it was insinuated to me.
Yeah, at the end when Pearl's like, "Oh, well, I just win," and like jumps over all of Pearl's or Amethyst remaining checkers, then Steven just dumps the remaining water balloons on her.
Yeah. Which she's enthralled to be like water ballooned. Pearl really, really neurodivergent. Does not like to get wet when she doesn't want to, does not want to eat food she doesn't want to, prefers
It's
to
the
have
mood.
order, prefers to try and do things by the rules, by the book. Like,
Have I mentioned my like aversion to water when I was a child because I did not like getting water in my eyes. So I just like did not like swimming at all.
well, just wear goggles.
Yeah, and that's why I started wearing goggles and it messed up my hair so much.
How do the goggles mess up your hair?
It's like when you have
Oh,
long hair and
yes,
you wear
yes.
goggles.
Googles.
Yeah. Mhm.
So this is where we find out during this argument that this is quote unquote why Amethyst and Pearl no longer form Opal.
Who's that?
What's that?
Who the fuck?
Every time I hear someone be like, "What happened?" or "What's that?" or something like that, I always think of the Mickey Mouse, like the modern quote unquote Mickey Mouse cartoon, even though it's like 10 years old already, where it's Mickey being like, "What happened?
What happened?
What happened?" Well, what happened was that Pearl and Amethyst kind of only do it in emergencies, but also it's implied throughout the episode that fusion requires y'all to be
In harmony?
in harmony. And unfortunately, Pearl and Amethyst don't particularly have harmony.
Yeah, they really don't because like we've said, they're the opposite ends of like the spectrum of alignments. That's the word I'm looking for. They're the opposite alignments. They don't really get along very well, even though they've been together for how many thousands of years? Like, come on, guys, get over it.
Yeah, I don't know how Amethyst is, and I know Pearl obviously is much older, but in the grand timeline of Earth, I'm not sure but at least hundreds of years, maybe
Yeah,
thousands.
well, I would think that maybe by this point they would, get over some of that shit. But no, Steven's the one who has to fix all of their problems because that's his role in the show,
I mean, it's less that
isn't it?
he fixes them and more they put aside their differences to save him because he's just a silly little guy.
Exactly. He's just a
Yeah.
little guy.
He's just a wee babe.
He's just a wee babe.
Yeah.
They see that Garnet has come back on the what is it called? The teleport pad? Warpad.
Yeah.
I always fucking forget. She comes back on the warp pad and she is like, okay, we have to go and get the heaven beetle and the earth beetle.
But also she gives Steven a rock.
So I
She
guess
gives Steven a rock.
What I am hearing you say, Robert, is that they literally have to move heaven and earth to make this happen.
It is a match made in heaven. And earth.
I'm also kind of surprised that like it's not like a taboo thing to say heaven in a cartoon, but like just remembering our censorship episode, I'm surprised they kind of just like they just said heaven.
Maybe we'll find out in the trivia that like this was like censored or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I also think that heaven, like, because I think there's like capital H, like Christian heaven, and lowercase h, like generic heaven.
Like there's the heavens above.
Exactly. Like the Greeks and other ancient civilizations referred to the heavens. It's always been like the realm of the gods.
Like, yeah, like Hera's like the queen of heaven. They don't really have heaven in Greek mythology, so not in the same way.
Right, they're different, but the term I think has different connotations. But still, I don't know. I like haven. I don't know. I'm trying to think of synonyms for referring to things up in the sky. Atmosphere is what Charlie came up with.
I'm like there are definitely other words like the aerial beetle. The I don't know. There are words. The airbender beetle. That's it. It's the airbender one, because the other one's the earthbender. We got it. We did it, folks. I'm just connecting the dots. That's my role here.
You didn't connect shit.
Thanks.
So yeah, one team has to get Earth Beetle, one team has to get Heaven Beetle.
Of course, Garnet's just like, I got this.
I mean, to be fair, the Earth Beetle is in lava, and she's the only one who can swim in lava. She like fucking manifests swim
I
goggles.
love it so much. Like she can't just wear her regular sunglasses or whatever those things are. She has to be like, no, I have to put on goggles over my other ones.
How else is she gonna see under the lava?
And it squishes the hair, and I love it. It's so
Well, okay, so I have a question here. I'm not sure if you've gone over this possible fan theory yet or have heard of it, but what are your thoughts on whenever you look at Garnet's visor and you see different tints of blue and red that it correlates with like which half of her fusion is like being more prominent? Yeah.
I love that. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen until after we find out she's a fusion. Like, I guess there are some instances of maybe a little bit more blue or a little bit more pink or whatever in her visor.
Yeah.
But like they purposely, I don't even think purposely, the mainly pink, mainly blue visor thing only starts happening in like season 2, which is bonkers.
I don't know. Like, even when I'm going back and looking, like it's definitely different. Like, even around this scene, like you can see like some is like blue, some is like goes from like a little bit red to like all blue and like back again. So maybe not as prominent, but it's
maybe
definitely
it wasn't
something.
as intentional.
No, I don't think it was intentional. Because I tried to like skew it up with what Garnet was saying, and I'm like, this doesn't seem more Sapphire or Ruby to me, but it's just interesting for me. I love like going back and watching episodes and trying to find those Easter eggs, and then am I finding them or am I just crazy?
Yes, the answer is yes. So yeah, Garnet's the only one who can survive in lava, sadly.
Garnet's going swimming.
Which I find funny because I remember seeing a Minecraft edit of the gems in Minecraft, and they rotoscope this scene of Garnet walking with her goggles on, being like, oh, I'm the only one who can survive in lava, and she goes into the nether, and then you see in the corner Garnet try to swim in lava, which means like she died.
Good.
Is it really good? Is it truly good?
It's truly good. So the rest of the gang is all going.
They go to the Sky Spire, which damn, and immediately they're attacked.
We've had a Sea Spire and we've had a Sky Spire.
Yeah.
So many spires in the gem world. Anyway,
when are we getting an Earth Spire? I guess
Garnet's going to the Earth Spire, I think.
I guess because she's getting the Earth Beetle. So then, where's the Fire Spire?
That's interesting because the Earth Beetle's in lava. So I don't know.
Imagine the Fire Beetle.
There's only 3 elements.
Is in like a cave.
It's just in a fire, like it's in the firehouse of Beach City. Just at the fire department.
And then everything changed when the Fire Spire attacked.
Boom, you gotta keep Beach City weird. Like when they get there, Steven is still trying to pester them to fuse, and they're like, oh, we only do it in cases of emergency. You know what's an emergency? They get attacked by a goat. Just a regular goat.
Oh no, it's a goat guardian! Help me!
Goat Steven, my son!
Oh, I thought of Charlie instantly when Steven says both my son and also you're no son of mine, or whatever he says.
Never. Don't you ever. Sorry, go ahead, Robert.
No, with whatever Charlie's like current fixation is, like whichever character they're hyper fixating on, I can just be like, oh yeah, that's them being like, my son.
My son, you are no son of mine. That's absolutely, it's me.
That also happens to Steven. Like Steven has like multiple people I feel that he gravitates towards, like taking on like that fatherly role. Like they get a cat. There's all of his he literally like has hundreds of watermelon versions of himself and has watermelon Steven.
And he does adopt them, and then he's like, you're no son of mine. Literally. Yeah. Oh my god.
But then they're walking, and we get a banger of a song.
It's the best song so far.
Cause all I wanna do is see you turn into a giant woman.
I
Love him.
feel bad. I had every intention of learning this on the ukulele, and life has
Same.
just been such a shit show recently. And I thought I had more time, but here we are, and we're recording this episode, and I couldn't do any better than Robert singing, anyways. So,
I'm not even that good a singer.
well, then that's saying something about my ukulele skills, but I think your voice is great.
I think Robert is a beautiful singer.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I have false memories of this episode because I keep thinking like, oh yeah, Stephen brings his ukulele, doesn't he?
He does not.
No,
It's
he
just
doesn't.
it's just like
Nor does he bring cheeseburger backpack.
These are lies that my brain has told me. I was like, he definitely brings these things, but he did not. Either that or I've slipped into an alternate universe.
yeah, no, I definitely slipped into an alternate universe because like I could have sworn Zach Allison's voice sounded different during this. And so I'm like, am I thinking the official like Spotify recording sounds different? And I listened and they sound about the same. And I'm like, am I going crazy? Like, I could have
I think you
sworn it sounded
are.
a little bit different. That being said, he has a great voice. How old was he at this point? He was like, what? If this was roughly 10 years ago and he's the same age as us, that's what, like 13, 14,
Yeah.
15?
Yeah. He was like
Oh, I
14.
know
Not
it'll be
even. He was
great,
13.
and I just can't wait to see the person you are together.
I don't like to think about the fact that Zal Callison is like what, only like a few days younger than me? When did we figure out what his birthday is?
You can do a huge dance because you are a giant woman. Let's see. He is. We can check this out.
Okay. Like 2 months.
He was born the day after my boyfriend. What the fuck? That's wild. I need to send it. Oh, but like a year before because my boyfriend's young.
Wow. Robert dating a younger man.
Yeah, shout out to him being 24.
I didn't realize Zach Allison is 25.
Zach Allison is 25. If I wasn't scared of getting sued by Cartoon Network, because Cartoon Network absolutely maybe would. They're not Disney. Disney, at the drop of a hat, if you say Disney more than 3 times in a sentence, they'll sue you.
Disney.
Fuck. It's like Beetlejuice, just for Disney.
Disney.
Oh no. What's it called? Speaking of my boyfriend, he hurt his knee this past weekend, and I'm like, which knee? Disney or dat knee? And he pointed, I'm like, oh, Disney. Disney. And he looked at me like, why do I like you? I'm like, you chose this, babe. Like, that's on you.
How dare you?
I love 14, 13, 16, however the fuck old Zach was when this was recorded, voice, because the going through puberty of his voice makes it sound significantly better. I don't know if Zach has sung this song anytime recently, at least recorded it. I'm pretty sure he, much like any other Steven Universe fan, I'm pretty sure he just randomly starts getting like the Steven Universe zoomies. He just starts singing randomly.
I don't know. Does he have a TikTok? Does he sing on his TikTok?
I think he needs to like re-sing all of the Steven Universe songs that he sang with like little kid voice.
But has to do it as an adult and like almost as Mr. Universe.
Yeah. God, imagine
Like he's gonna come out with an album. He's gonna release an album with his dad. And it's just all the compilations of his childhood.
my brain was just like, oh, here's a dark timeline thought. We get a live action Steven Universe and Zach plays Greg.
That's that's sort of like how people want, quote unquote, people want Logan Lerman to play Poseidon in the Percy Jackson show. And it's like, he's not old enough to look like a dad character.
He does have the really good grays. Like
Zach is 25.
I know.
Greg is like in his late 30s or early 40s
Yeah.
by the time Steven Universe like takes
I know.
place.
That's why I'm like darkest timeline. Here we go. Because also live action Steven Universe.
No, just no. There's not enough body paint in the world. At this point, they'd probably CGI the gems, which would just be bad.
They'd just be CGI people.
It would be like if they made a Dear Evan Hansen movie and they had Ben Platt play the lead. Oh.
You said it, not me.
So Steven Universe.
So we talked about the best song ever.
I don't think it's the best song ever. My favorite song isn't appearing till like season 3 or 4. I forget exactly which, but we'll get there eventually, 3 years down the line.
Okay.
Oh, y'all
These
are like
boys.
you are in the exact opposite of where Cabbages is. Like we finished our 3 years and we finished our first like arc, and like it's basically where y'all are gonna be when you finish, and like before you do like grown up or whatever, or like
I'm like 4 years into my Percy Jackson like podcasting vibes. I don't podcast anymore, but I've been meme paging for 4 years.
and it gives us life.
You podcast vicariously through the rest of us.
And the years start coming and they don't stop coming. But you know
And they
what
don't
doesn't
stop
stop?
coming.
You know what does stop coming? Question mark. The music, because it stops as they reach the top. And they see just a little house with like a little bed, little bongos, and that's
I love
where
it. It's
that is
beautiful.
that is where the Sky Beetle was, but the Sky Beetle no longer there.
It's not there.
You know who there? Giant bird, big bird. It's the big bird,
Evil
evil big
bird.
bird, evil burb.
This burb is hungry. I guess that it makes sense because maybe it's almost, if there were babies, like this would almost be like also its nest. Like I get very uneasy vibes from the setup of this house on the top of this eerie hill. In fact, any movie that has the words house and hill in the same sentence or this title, you just no, you don't watch it.
Okay, y'all. So I had questions about Big Bird because that is in fact the technical term for this gem, as far as we know. The corrupted gem, but it's like a bunch of different, it's a fusion. I was not sure if it was actually a fusion or not. It's a fucking fusion of like 40 gems, possibly of the same type.
Maybe.
I wasn't sure if it was like it almost reminds me of the other, like what's the other beetle like earlier in the series, like it's almost like a shattered or a corrupted gem,
Like
versus
centipedal?
yeah, centipedal, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The wiki is just like, yeah, this is like actually a fusion. I'm like, okay, sure. Makes sense to me. But fusion is just a bird. It's just a fucking
I thought
bird.
I thought it was a cheap tactic to make gems. Anyway,
But the bird, it eat Steven Union. He dead. He
well,
gone.
he did. All right, people. Before that, Garnet and Amethyst, Garnet and Amethyst, Jesus Christ, Pearl and Amethyst try to form Opal, but they can't. By the way, I'm skipping a little bit ahead, just like it's in the trivia. We have our little section, but Amethyst did the fucking stanky leg.
She's got moves, okay? What would you, okay, gem fusion dance time, what would everyone's like dance style be for their gem fusion?
Ooh, I think this needs to be our question. I think I'm gonna think about this, and this is gonna be our question for the end for later the episode. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, well, I just listen. We'll get to it again when we get to the trivia. But like, she does the fucking stanky leg. Pearl.
Do we not love the dance? We have like Pearl doing like her ballet moves.
Her black swan.
Amethyst doing the drunk dance you do at a wedding after you've had a couple of drinks.
And it's definitely an open bar.
And like open bar wedding, and like the DJ just put on, what's the song that people like? Just put on like Mr. Brightside.
Get all the white people turned.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's how it be.
Yeah.
But it does not work because
It
like
does not. They're not in harmony.
they're not in sync, because
bye.
Thank you. I'm so glad I'm not the only one who thought about NSYNC. I'm like, they're not in sync because they're not 5 boys in a
They're
boy
not a
band.
big band. Nope. But I do. I mean, to their credit, they haven't done this in a long time. They were a little rusty. So, but they got there. All it took was our boy Steven, getting Pinocchioed and eaten by the whale. I mean, giant bird.
Giant bird. You know who also gets eaten by the giant bird? Steven Jr. Which is, by the way, the name of the goat. We forgot to say that.
I did say that Steven Jr. got eaten like 5 minutes ago.
We also didn't. Did we? I don't think we said Steven named the goat Steven Jr.
He named the goat because it's his son. It's his boy.
It's his son, but it's no longer his boy when they're inside, and
Yeah.
he's the
Goats eat
Steven-
everything.
The goats eat everything, so he's trying to eat the fucking air sky beetle. Jesus Christ,
Heaven
he's trying to eat
beetle.
heaven beetle. 3 fuck ups in a row.
We're
Fuck
good at
yeah.
this.
We're good at this. It's almost like I've at least been podcasting for like 3 years. I should be good at it by now, but you know what?
No.
I'm good at it in my
You're
own
trying
way.
your best. You're doing great.
Steven is trying to wrestle the heaven beetle from Steven Jr.'s mouth, and he's like, "You're no son of mine."
Oh, the hurt, the betrayal.
The fact that they're like still alive in this bird, that's also great. And also, like, inside the bird, there's just a bunch of gems.
Gems and like trinkets and just like when I have more free time, I just want to pause this scene and break down to see like what Easter eggs might be hidden here.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff going on.
I'm sure there'll be some mentions in the trivia section, but then
the arms just come through the bird.
So is it bad to say that this bird got fisted?
This bird did get fisted by Opal. In fact.
Yeah. I love the reveal. She's in shadow until she dramatically jumps down with Steven and Steven Jr. And then like the sun reveals her face and Steven's like, oh.
and you know, she's gorgeous. We love her.
Homie does like a fucking backflip slide down the stairs. I'm like, this is some Tarzan shit.
Oh my god, you're so right. I was like, her dexterity saving throw here was a nat 20 faux show.
Well, she's an archer, so like she's got to have like the really high dex.
Yeah, she does.
Right?
You're right. Totally.
Yeah, but like she breaks the giant bird into like a million little tiny birds, and then shoots them all with like magic star arrow thing.
Charlie, you play Legend. You've been playing Breath of the Wild. Do you have the light arrows yet?
I don't think light arrows.
Do they not exist in Legend in Breath of the Wild?
I think those might be the next game.
I swear they have to exist.
There's lightning arrows.
Lightning. You know what?
There's lightning, bombs, fire, and ice, and the regular arrows, and the ancient arrows too.
Oh yeah, you know what? She just does big bow. She like goes through her arsenal, and she just pulls out a bow. But by combining Amethyst's whip and Pearl's lance.
Mm-hmm. That's the coolest thing about like fusions is that they combine the weapons.
They're super weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a new thing that's the best thing to like theorize about for like years when people were theorizing what is Rainbow Quartz's weapon. Like the spear and the shield, what's it gonna make? It made an umbrella. Who would have thought?
I wouldn't have thought. What was the original?
We never saw.
Quartz then, yeah, because she never was in battle.
We never saw her weapon, but I definitely saw.
We just saw Rainbow Quartz like for the gay moment.
I think I saw like either cosplays or fan art of like it's gonna be an umbrella, like kind of things, because you know people theorize and all that shit.
Yeah,
it's good shit.
I love how when they finally have a moment to like chill, and Steven's like, "Hey, do you know who I am?" Like. Opal just chuckled and she's like, all you wanna do is see me turn into
a giant woman.
Yep.
Whisper.
Opal and Steven then make it back to the temple. Garnet's like, hey, y'all have the heaven beetle. Opal unfuses because she freaks out. She's like, oh my god, we didn't get the heaven beetle. And Steven's like, no, I have it. It's here.
It was in his pocket
the whole time.
I love how Garnet takes the beetle, puts it into like a little bug cage, and then bubbles it.
I love the bug cage.
It's like Cricky and Mulan.
I definitely like forgot because we see the beetles like later. I definitely forgot that they were gems. I never was just like, oh, they're getting these beetles. I don't know what for. It's early Steven Universe. Who knows what the heck's going on here? No, they're gems. And they're corrupted, so that's why they gotta be bubbled.
And as the episode is closing, Garnet tells Steven that he will be great at fusing one day. And the star-shaped iris is closing, and Steven's like, wait a minute, what? I can do this?
I love it! Can he?
Question mark. Find out next week.
On
It's
Dragon
still
Ball Z.
such a question because like they fuse because they're made of light and their
Mhm.
bodies like they're not really there. But then when Steven fuses with them, okay, sure, his body is like organic.
Yeah.
But then when he fuses with people, how do these things work? It's still such a mystery.
It
He's
does
not.
and it doesn't, but it does and then it doesn't. We did it. Hey,
We sure did it, folks. Guess what? Guess what? We're going to Crystal Temple for some trivia time.
Pearl revealed that she has, I have no fucking clue how to pronounce this word. Samokinesis, the ability to manipulate sand.
My computer is like freezing at the moment, so I can't get to the page.
I've never heard this word before, so I would be of no help here.
All
Let me
right.
see.
I'm going to look up how to say it. Hold on. Wait. No, not
Yeah,
psychokinesis.
that's a Samokinesis? Okay.
All right. Hold on. I have seen samokinesis. Fine. Okay. Samokinesis, which is the ability to manipulate sand.
This is an ability that Toph struggles with.
But gets better at it later on, yeah.
Good enough to teach Aang how to do it, and she also just makes that like the little sand earth kingdom.
Yep.
I
Yep.
do not remember the sand bend. When did that part happen?
So it was like a sand castle contest, basically, as like they're like when they're at Ember
Oh.
Island, taking their little booze cruise before they go and save the world.
And like I think what Sokka made some like sleazy little thing.
Sokka tried really hard to make. I think it was Toph made like a full replica of Bossing Say.
With
And-
with the little bear. I forget the name of the bear. Holy shit.
Bosco.
Right, because it's an homage to Dante Bosco. Right.
My favorite.
I meant in the Steven Universe episode.
But he's just a bear.
He
Just
is
a bear.
just a bear.
You mean like a turtle bear?
No, just a regular bear.
Oh, you mean like an armadillo bear?
No, just a bear.
That's weird.
Horn blares.
Yeah, that guy also agreed with me. It's fucking weird.
Honk if you agree that Bosco was just a bear. And it's weird.
Bosco he's just vibing. He's a bear. What's the next Crystal Temple trivia? What's the next trivia?
When Amethyst accidentally knocks Steven off the floating platform, he briefly turns into his simplistic render, used after Garnet's complicated explanation of how she summons her gauntlets in Gemglow.
Yeah, gotta love. Listen, the animation was great. I loved the close up when Steven was like, "My son." He's so cute. When Pearl and Amethyst were playing chess, Pearl cheated by moving a checker that wasn't kinged backward, which is against the rules. Yes, this is true. You can tell it would have been kinged if she had a piece stacked on it. Two stacked pieces means it's kinged. So foul on Pearl.
Pearl cheats because she's not as lawful as we thought.
No, I think when it comes down to it, Pearl is very competitive, just as competitive as Amethyst is. She's in it to win it.
Garnet says in this episode that she can swim in lava. And yeah, this is probably inherited from Ruby because Ruby has heat-based powers. Also, as lava is very dense, this may also mean that Garnet is able to change her density at will. And
Nice.
yes, Robert, you get the thing that you wanted.
Hey, yo, cultural reference. Amethyst dance includes the stanky leg. I mean, yeah, you know what? Steven Universe, I think a lot of the writers were millennials. It checks out.
Yeah.
This is also the first time we've seen Amethyst's left eye.
What the fuck?
Usually she wears her hair down covering that eye. This is the first time we see it. Holy shit.
She has two eyes. No way. Amethyst and Pearl's first successful on-screen fusion. Wait, this doesn't count. What does this mean, first successful? Was this not...
It's the first time we see them actually do the fusion dance successfully.
Okay.
All the way in like, when the fuck is log date 7/15/2? That's in like season 4, I think, right?
It's like season 3, I think. It's with Peridot. So I think that's, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
the cluster is a thing.
Yeah, the cluster is the thing. That's the first time we see them fuse properly from start to finish.
And then in Together Alone, they fuse without dancing. So
yeah.
Right, I remember that now. They did do that.
They did it big.
Wow, good shit. All right, friends. Who do you want to assign Pearl points to? And yes, Alex, this is like experience points. So like, who do you think deserved a Pearl point?
I'm gonna still go up with, I'm literally gonna give it to Opal, so I guess I'm giving Pearl a Pearl point because that deck save down those stairs was 100% a nat 20. And also afterwards, when she just lands so gracefully, drops off Steven, whips out her bow, and just takes down like Katniss fucking Everdeen, all of these the creature that was guarding the heaven beetle. Yeah. So Steven was not even his bardic self during this fight. He was so overcome by his own inspiration that he couldn't even get out and like his ukulele or like his bust out his pipes and like sing a song to hype her up. But she didn't need it. So
I'm glad we are in agreement that Steven is a bard.
Oh, 100% a bard.
Yeah. I watched a video once where someone was like, "Oh, Steven's like a paladin." I'm like,
"Sir, no."
No.
Garnet's a paladin.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe.
Pearl's probably more of a paladin.
Yeah, I think I have Pearl as a paladin in my things. Someday we should do a D&D Steven Universe thing.
In my commitment to the bit, my Pearl point will go to Steven Jr.
Good.
Who, in the same episode, was both adopted and then, I guess,
disowned,
yeah.
My Pearl point's going to Garnet's goggles. They debuted and they were beautiful. And I assume they helped her navigate that lava, which we never saw.
No.
Rip to that solo mission that we don't get to see.
I mean, they would have just been... from what it sounds like, Garnet just like swam peacefully through lava. She had like a nice relaxing swim.
She said it at like, oh yeah, you can't come because I'm the only one can swim in lava. But also she threw that up as a defense to be like, y'all aren't gonna ruin this for me. This is my one day to like go and finally have a mission by myself. And I got this. So I just am going to conveniently, hide behind you guys. You're just gonna die if you help me. So might as well stay here.
I'm just not really, I think, so Garnet and then Bismuth, I think, are the only gems we know of that can survive in like lava and shit, right? Yeah, because I know Bismuth bathes in lava later when we see her too.
You just gotta bathe in lava. That's the vibe.
I guess them's the vibes.
Them is the vibes. You know what are the last vibes we gotta do?
Well, hold on, Charlie. What are your experience points?
Oh, I said it. It's going to the goggles.
The goggles. That's right. Okay, great. Never mind.
Moving on. Point, just give it to the goggles for that quest.
And now, Charlie, as we talked about earlier, the question is just going to be, what is the dance you would do to Fuse?
I said I was going to think about it, and then I still haven't really thought about it.
I'm trying to think of, like, what is the most Mimi dance?
The Macarena.
No, that's not Mimi. That's like, that's 90s. That's not Mimi. I'm trying to think, like, the most Mimi dance I can think of is
the
probably
Bernie, maybe.
I was going to say the Harlem Shake. I don't want to do the Harlem Shake to fucking... Because there is no official, like, dance for the Harlem Shake. You just do whatever, and then the beat drops, and you suddenly turn it... Actually, you know what? That might work.
I'm doing the Cotton Eye Joe. Full on. Full stop.
Just do Cotton Eye Joe.
I'm just doing the Cotton Eye Joe.
I'm going to do the dance you do for the Cupid Shuffle.
Nice.
Good.
Very good. I am totally going to go with the dance that I'm torn between either the dance that Britney Spears does in the Till the World Ends music video or Gaga in Bad Romance. One of those two.
Well, I think we've all chosen super iconic dances.
Can't top it.
Can't top it. Hey, Alex, before we go, please tell the people again where they can find you and what you do.
Yeah, sure. Thank you again for having me, y'all. I'm Alex. I'm one half of the awesome podcast, My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast. We are in just a few weeks going to be coming back at you with season 2, or like, I guess not season 2, but like our arc or second arc for Korra. You can
Act
find
2, maybe.
Act 2. There you go. I love it. You can
It's like
find
a play.
you can find us on Instagram at My Cabbage Cast, which is conveniently also our handle on Threads. I don't know if Threads will still be an app by the time this episode airs, but you can find us there too, and Gmail mycabbagecast@gmail.com.
Wonderful,
Good,
wonderful.
good.
We have done it.
We did it. We did the cabbage bits.
No, yeah,
No, we did.
yeah.
Yeah, you did the cabbage bits because you stole the bits from Cabbages to do for your bits, even though it should be the bits. But that's your podcast name. So
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the bits, Charlie,
Robert,
if every podcast were perfect.
we wouldn't have the bits.
Yay! Bye, everyone.
Bye.
bye.
You can follow this podcast socials at The Bits SU Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send a message to our Diamond line through thebitssupod@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a rating, a review, or let your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms, and I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Robert, at the Damn Meme page on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Damn is spelled D-A-M. If you want to hear more from me, check out one of my many podcasts. I have a Once Upon a Time podcast called Entering Storybrooke, a Kim Possible podcast called That's a Sitch, and an Oseman Verse podcast called the Truum Grammar Book Club.
The Bits is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast that follows the true hero of the Avatar The Last Airbender series, the Cabbage Cart Guy.
Coffee, tea, honor, cabbage. Long ago, the four elements lived in harmony. Then, shit went totally cray when the Avatar attacked. Only the Cabbage Man, merchant of fine cruciferous vegetables, could stand against his trolling. But when the world needed some dank veg, he vanished. 10 years have passed, and my partner and I have started a new podcast.
My Cabbages! An Avatar podcast.
A weekly show about Avatar The Last Airbender. Whether it's Sokka's new line of cologne,
Hey, look at you, sitting there on a seal. Well, now look back at me. I'm on an even bigger seal. Now look away.
D&D related antics,
You have to make an acrobatics check for that, and Aang just like unzips his pants and whips out his d20s. He's just like, I got this.
or randomly breaking into song.
Go bending waterfall.
We'll stumble our way through the greatest show ever made, one episode at a time.
You can reach us at CabbageCast, which is our Twitter, or
Subscribe wherever you catch pod.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you think this is?
I mean, who is truly driving this ship? Does anyone know how to,
Probably Pearl.
does
Yeah.
Pearl have, listen, she can't navigate a self-made spaceship. Can she drive a boat? Is it called driving a boat? Do you drive a boat? I know you drive like an electric boat.
It's boating school. It's not driving school, right? In SpongeBob's world, it's boating school.
It is. I've heard both phrases.
So you don't drive a boat, you boat a boat. Because boat is the verb.
That's why it's Bodie McBoatface.
Driving the boat or ship is not really a maritime term, not something what a traditionalist sailor would say. The person at the helm is steering the boat.
We all
But
were
it's not
wrong.
steering school.
You don't need a license to steer.
I think you do.
Well, those cows are going to be really upset.
Dave X Media.